this is John from Agile Offroad. We're going to talk a little bit more about the 2023 all-wheel drive Mercedes Sprinter. As you know, we've purchased one. We've done a lot of upgrades to it already, and we've learned quite a bit. People have been asking a lot of questions about the Mercedes all-wheel drive, the brand new one, and there's also been questions comparing it to the old one and maybe a Sprinter that they wish they made. But I'll try and answer some of the questions we've been getting. Somebody asked about, does Mercedes make any Sprinter that is shipped on the fly? There's currently no Sprinter that's shipped on the fly. You could consider the all-wheel drive shipped on the fly just because it's pretty seamless as you drive it, and it requires traction in the front. It will put traction towards the front. We'll start learning more about the transfer case as we do a lot more driving on that. Let's see here. People ask a lot about the specs on it. Honestly, it'd be best if you just go to mercedesvans.com to get those specs. You can go to their website, you can build your own van, you can check the heights of them, things like that. In reality, this Sprinter is slightly taller than the old one. Honestly, we haven't really put our finger on exactly what's been changed there, but it's not really significant. This is pretty much the same as the other one. The older one, the four-wheel drive. However, we do see a little bit more ride height out of this one. We feel that Mercedes changed the rear spring. They got a little bit more free arch in there. The front's slightly different, it's ever so slightly. So bear that in mind if it might be a little bit higher, you know, off the top of the roof than the 906. You can also see the new e-Sprinter on there if you're into electric stuff. So check that out. Few of the benefits of the new all-wheel drive with the new four-cylinder. They're still asking, is it four-cylinder or six-cylinder? The 2023 all-wheel drive is four-cylinder. That's it. It does have a sequential turbo. Somebody did correct me. I thought it was I was mentioning it was either a compound or, because I'm not really an engine guy, but he referred to it as a sequential turbo, which makes sense. Basically, there's two size turbos in there. One covers a low speed, one covers a high, you know, as it kind of spools up. It really drives well. We're also getting asked, is it faster? It's a little bit faster, not significantly. Like, not everybody's going to run out and sell their older Sprinter because this one's that much faster. It's not that much faster, but it does feel a little bit. It feels a little bit peppier, but they're also light. This thing's completely empty compared to our 9,000 pound Rebel. This thing is extremely light, pretty sporty. Benefits, this one does have LED lights on it, same as the last one. People have been asking if it's still that adaptive. It is the adaptive headlights. So this, when you get with the LED lights, you can put it into adaptive mode, so that automatically comes on. That will also can be changed if you have the adaptive headlights coming on. Your fog lights will not come on when you turn, so you do have to turn off that adaptive headlight, so your fog lights will come on when you turn if you want that feature. Lane assist, big thumbs up on the lane assist. Much better. It's a lot more intuitive. You'll read about it in the manual, but if you do buy one of these, you probably will not worry about changing or turning off lane assist. It's really nice. You drive it aggressively, you're on the gas, you cross the solid line on the passenger side, it's not going to come on because you're driving it sporty, and you'll see that verbiage in the manual on there. You can also read about your adaptive headlights in the manual as well. Again, being taller, yeah, it's a little bit taller. Go to their website, you can probably get a little bit more specs on that stuff. Amp steps 2023. AMP does not even list them fitting the 2022. We've had a few people have some issues with that. We're not sure why they've had issues. They're typically people installing them at home. We're not having issues installing them on the 22s, the 21s with their new plug-in unit. Can be a little finicky because of the way the computer can turn on and off. I don't see it being an issue on the 23. Everything that we've been involved in with the chassis is very similar. Let's see here, location of the oil filter, right on top of the block. It's right there, really easy to get to. It's one of those cartridge filters, you pop it out. Cabin filter, same location as the 22, as well as the air filter right on top. That stuff's pretty easy to get to. It is also B20 compliant, compatible, however you want to say that. So as you're getting the B20 fuel, you'll be able to run that in here. Shifting, this thing shifts really nice. It's got the new transmission in there. It's a 9-speed transmission. By the time you're going down the road, it takes off. It's got really good, like, out of the hole stuff because it's got a much lower first gear, or much lower first gear, not extremely lower, but quite a bit lower first gear than the 22. But when you get up to about 45 miles an hour, I think the thing's like in 5th gear. So it really just gets going, you know. Big tires, yes. This one has 285 75 17s on it. We've clearanced it for that size tire. The adaptive cruise is currently working. There is a feature that Mercedes has that they've added to this, and it is where they've raised the center of gravity. It has more to do with the ESP. So think of this as basically it's like the main control unit is the cool teacher at school. He lets you kind of come in late after the bell's rung, and he doesn't dock you, and he's not a real jerk. And this thing's a lot more forgiving in that part of the Sprinter. As this Sprinter drives, everything's having to check in, and if it checks in with perfect timing and everything with that, everything's really nice. This system seems to have those parameters have been opened up. It's a lot more friendly. So we are currently running the 285 75 17 BFG. These are some methods. Yeah, these are methods. So those are 17 by 7.5, probably 50 millimeter offset in that range. Really good fit. We've also clearanced the rear for this. Dash, the look of the dash is pretty much identical. This particular one had some cool features, which were inside. There's some trays up on the top of the dash which are covered. So all 3 of the trays up top are covered. I think that came out standard, you know, as an option in 22. This particular one has it. This one also has an electric door, which we're not super chilled about, but it seems to work pretty good. We haven't had any issues. It also does have an electric emergency brake. I've never owned a Sprinter with electric emergency brake. It's not that bad. I thought it'd be kind of a pain in the ass, but it really isn't. Maybe as we get onto the trail and you're opening and closing the door, that might be an issue for me, but other than that, it hasn't been too bad. So a question about the brakes, because we do, with this one having the electric emergency brake, currently we do not have a rear brake solution for that. So we did put the big brakes on this. You'll see the big brakes. This has the Agile Offroads in the front. We know that they'll fit in the rear. As well, we know that the ARB locker is fitting in the rear. We did not re-gear this one. We're currently just running 392s, which is stock. We'll probably drive it and see how it works with the locker in this. Hopefully we're gonna get out there this weekend or the following weekend, because I'll be out in the desert both these weekends, and be able to traipse this thing around, see how everything works. I think it's gonna be great. That locker locks up and it has the 2 wheel speed sensors going the same direction. It just drives really good. At least in the 22, it's fantastic off-road with the locker. But we are working on a solution for that emergency brake. Let's see here. Sequential. And again, we do have people asking. We get a lot of people asking about the 6-cylinder. It is no longer available. They're gonna, you know, it's been probably decommissioned by California or something, who knows, but everything's gonna be 4-cylinder. And I think that kind of covers it. So some of the really cool things that we've done: big tires, no modifications to the to any of the computer system, so no adjustments to the ESP. Big brakes front, big brakes will fit in the rear as long as you do not have an electric emergency brake. ARB locker fits perfect. Everything's identical in there. Gearing we did keep the same. A lot of stuff underneath, even though the engine compartment is quite a bit different. The onboard air system fits in there. There's a few subtle differences in the grill that have created some problems for some things, but our winch plate will fit, horn fits, our lights will fit, we know that. We've done a few sets of those. So just keep asking more questions and we'll try to address them as best we can. And again, big tires, big plus. That a lot of people, we've had a lot more people asking just in general. We've been getting a lot of phone calls on that. So you can call the shop, let us know what your questions are, or hit us up in the comments. So we still have a few things to do that we want to do with the suspension. We've got a brand new auxiliary shock kit. This auxiliary shock kit is on this particular van here. We've now got a new billet lower mount. It's really sweet to install. This will save the installers and the shops a lot of time doing the install. A much simpler application, bolting them in on the top. It's pretty sweet. We've also been testing that on the older Sprinter, so we feel it'll be a good fit for the older Sprinter as well. And that is also stroking the shock a fair amount. We're getting almost complete 5 inches of stroke out of that shock, which is a real big benefit. When you put that shock in that front end, you really have to bear in mind where you're putting it in its location. Some manufacturers are putting it so far in, it's basically window dressing. It's just sitting there idling back and forth. Matter of fact, as it goes to full bump, the shock decelerates, which is the exact opposite that you want to do when you're going off-road. We're going to be doing some springs on the rear of this. Right now this van is completely light, so we're going to be putting in some springs. We do plan on doing a build out on the inside. That should be fun here. The guys aren't used to doing any of that stuff, but hopefully we're going to partner with somebody to help us with that. Probably sub out some of that work and then do some of it here. So, fuel tank, we've got, this has the new 45-gallon fuel tank in from S&B. That fits really, really well. We do have a modification that we do to the float. As well, we take the fuel module out of the Sprinter, we reprogram those here, and that will allow your mileage to 0 to function correctly, as well as if you don't have J51, we'll update that J51 in the fuel module. All that's going to be done inside the fuel module, so the fuel module will have to be replaced. That's underneath the seat. You pull it out, you put the new one in.
And we do that here.
Yeah, we do that here. Yep. So that mileage to 0 module will be out and available for all of the Sprinters, excuse me, not all the VS30 Sprinters, which is 2019 to 2023. That will be compatible with the 45-gallon 20 of the all-wheel drive, 47-gallon S&B, 40-gallon S&B, as well as the ACGB for the VS30. And in that model, it's a 48-gallon. And that mileage to 0 is pretty sweet. Now when I'm traveling, I can go in there, I can look at my mileage to 0. I don't have to do all this crazy math. Like, well, when did I fill up? Should I double this? Is the gauge accurate? Is it not accurate? It's working really, really sweet. So for me, I love it. We've also been doing some things with Rome Rig. Mainly, they're big fans of the Winnebago Revel, and they've got power systems for those. So we're developing, we're installing those power systems here, as well as some of their other simple little upgrades they have. And one of the cool upgrades they have is a beat box. This particular Sprinter has the second battery, auxiliary battery, which is underneath the seat. We're probably going to take that thing out and put the new 10-inch beat box in there. It sounds really, really good. I've got it in the Revel. It makes driving on the road trips real nice, you know. Matter of fact, if your wife doesn't like your music choices, you may need to turn it down just a little bit. But other than that, it's a really, really nice system. So pretty stoked to be involved in that. And keep asking the questions. So 2023, we're gonna hopefully have this thing out. Hopefully maybe this weekend or the following weekend, we'll report back on how the locker's working with the all-wheel drive. Again, that's gonna be new terrain for us. We're still learning. So the more questions you guys ask, it helps us to know what people are interested in. And so keep them coming.